In this video, this is the reality of RV living with pets. Something that I never expected to happen. So you want to travel full-time in your RV with pets? Maybe you're just going to travel part-time? You better think long and hard, because pets
pose a whole different challenge.
Yeah.
We love, and if you know our channel at all, you know Pebbles, our world revolves around Pebbles, our little Boston Terrier. And this is probably one of the hardest videos that we've had to record so far, so bear with us.
Yeah, so Megan's work, she works full-time, and they offered pet insurance. And, we're like, nah, we don't need pet insurance, who really needs that? Well, if you've seen our channel for a while, and you've seen the problems we've had with our new Durango fifth wheel with the frame issue, just before they came to pick up that camper, Pebbles started kind of acting like she felt under the weather, and we were moving stuff, we're in and out, so we kind of thought maybe it was...
I thought she was just absorbing our stress, because it
stressed.
was so much movement in and out, packing up stuff, all of that. And I don't know if you saw one of our videos, you could see I had a shot of her under the picnic table where she was just kind of laying there. Come to find out, she was really, really sick.
We got out of the fifth wheel and got into Thad and Mary's little camper that they were letting us use, and she just got really, really sick. Didn't eat for 3 days and was vomiting. So it was a weekend, so we called around to the local vets. This is something else to keep in mind.
I was going to say a whole nother challenge, and something we had never thought of, because Peps has always been so healthy, is I called, 10 vets, and they all said, oh, sorry, you're not local, we can't take you. So in hindsight, if you're going to be somewhere long term, lesson learned, is make contact with a vet, whether your pet is healthy or not, to have that local resource. Talk to the people around you and figure out who is a good vet. Unfortunately, what that meant for us is we had to go to more of the urgent care veterinary services, which...
Right, that was expensive, because it's urgent care. They got us right in. They took Pebbles in and examined her, and come on, Pebby's been going to the vet.
Come on, love bug. Won't you be?
Should we put Big Joe inside the door?
Wait just a minute. There you go.
Yes, he is. Pebbles is laying in the floor, not feeling good, in the vet's office. She's not even trying to escape like she normally does.
Because the vet tech came in after the vet analyzed everything. It said possibly pancreatitis.
Pancreatitis, maybe.
So, doing blood work, gonna give her IV fluids.
Cha-ching.
And some nausea medicine.
Said there's something going on inside. They couldn't tell what it was, but they could tell she was sore. So they gave us some options to admit her to another emergency
like a
area.
higher level of care, more of like an emergency
where she
care.
would stay for a couple of days and be on fluids and whatnot, and we just didn't want to do that. So they offered to keep her there for like 6 hours, give her fluids, antibiotics, and see how she does. So we did that, and when we came back to get her, she seemed a lot perkier.
She perked up some, but what we found from her lab work is that her liver enzymes were so elevated. Her eyes were actually yellow, her belly, her paws, her skin was
very
yellow.
Jaundice.
She was jaundiced because her liver wasn't functioning. Come to find out later, after ultrasound, what they had found is that her gallbladder was so infected that it was backing up into her liver. And so we left there with 5 different medicines and a really sick dog still.
Yeah. So once she started to eat a little bit, started to feel a little bit better, and we could get some medicine in her, she perked up for a few days, and we're thinking, okay, she's doing really well, doing better. She was maybe better for about a week, and then she kind of had a day here and there that she'd be kind of puny, wouldn't eat, just, you could tell she wasn't feeling good.
So the original was a 3-week course of 2 antibiotics, a probiotic, a pill for her liver, and a liquid pill for her gallbladder, plus a pain pill if she needed it. We did that course of medicines, and like Paul said, very expensive, thousands of dollars later, and then we go back to retest lab work. Labs have improved, but not to the point that they wanted to stop medicine. So we were told 3 more weeks of all the same medicine. So, like Paul said, we kind of would have good days, not so good days, eat some day, not the next day. And unfortunately, this week, we got back to totally not eating at all.
Refusing, it was like day one all over again.
Right, refusing to take her medicines, which is hard. You hate to have to force food or force medicine, into her, because she doesn't understand. But then we're again faced with another decision. They're talking about gallbladder surgery, which unfortunately for a dog is much harder than people, is what they're telling us. 50-50 chance that she could not even make it through the surgery.
And
not
it's
to mention,
like $6,000.
Right. Rock bottom, you're looking at least $6,000. Again, it makes you think differently about pet insurance. Pebs have been totally healthy, but she is a 10-year-old dog. In hindsight now, the few dollars it would cost a month, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, totally would have gone for that. Now I'm thinking, if she can only get to open enrollment and I could add that, maybe it would be helpful. But pet ownership is so difficult, and there's so much responsibility. And especially when you're traveling and you're not in your area where you have that vet you trust, it's really important to plan ahead for these potential things that can come up.
And you have a little nest egg when you're traveling. You think, if you have a mechanical issue, breakdown, or something happens to your RV, you got to get fixed, and you overlook your pets. You don't count on them being sick, not deathly sick. I mean, Pebbles is on her deathbed almost, and it's thousands of dollars it's already cost us, out of our own pocket, and
And we're not saying she's not worth every penny. She is. But it is an absolute fine balance between, sinking this ship and using up all of our extra, and knowing what to do and what the right call is.
Right.
And we love Pebbles, and we share this so that you guys have time to think it through, and maybe, unlike us, you can choose that pet insurance and plan ahead for it. And maybe it's something you guys have already thought of. For us, it was very unexpected, and in the midst of all this other crazy stress that we've been going through between RVs. So it's just an added aspect, but it's a very real one. And if we can share that so that you can possibly have time to prepare and think it through, we felt like it was important.
Yeah, it's very important that when you're planning to go full-time or part-time, even if you're a weekender or you're going on your week vacation, make sure you're stocked up on all the meds your pet needs. You have all the records with you, because like when we went to this vet, they wanted to know, all of her medical information. So they contacted her vet that she used to have down south, and they kind of talked and got that situated. All I have with her are her vaccination records, because Campgrounds has rabies vaccination and is up to date on their shots. They don't really care about their medical history, so I don't have any of that with us. Hoping that Peb survives this, we will have that with us from now on. But it's a tough road to go down.
But even thinking back, it makes me look differently. I can remember doing a week-long trip going down to Ocean Lakes, and we had a dog, Carbon, at the time, who was horribly terrified of like gunfire, fireworks, lightning, thunder, all that stuff. Carbon was deathly afraid of like fireworks and all of that, and every night at Ocean Lakes she would start to anticipate that. It wouldn't even be dark yet, and she would know that the fireworks were coming. We tried to contact a vet at that point just to give her something to help ease her anxiety, and they would not accommodate without talking to our vet at the time. Called our vet at the time, and they said it had been too long since they had seen Carbon, and because of that would not okay a prescription.
I forgot about that.
Even something as simple as that, it's not as life and death as Pebbles, but it's still a big deal, and it distressed the dog.
It is. She was horrified. I mean, she'd jump up in my lap, just shaking, and
she ripped a hole in our mattress. She was jumping up behind the televator TV. It was awful. I gave her several Benadryl, and did not affect her. So she had a miserable week. It gave us a miserable week, and just totally changed our camping experience.
It was kind of bad on the veterinarian that they wouldn't even give us some sort of relaxant for her. It's not a narcotic. It's pretty much harmless.
Right.
For the welfare of the pet, they just wanted they wanted money. They wanted you to come in and all this baloney, in my opinion, just so they could charge us and get something out of it. They weren't there to help the dog at all.
And I have to say, as far as Pebbles' situation, we've had a good experience with the vets that we've had. It is more that urgent care, so it is more expensive, but they have gone above and beyond for her. The hard, tricky part that we're in right now is it feels like a vicious cycle where it kind of keeps things at bay, but then every few days she's sick again.
Right.
And then it's hard to get medicine in her. You can't get the medicine in, and then she gets sicker. She doesn't eat, and she gets sicker. So we ask them, like, is this something that's fixable, or is this something that's going to continue? And you get a bit of a vague answer. It's, well, we hope if she can consistently take these medicines, she'll get better. Well, when she doesn't feel good, I can't force the medicines in her. We've tried doing the pilling thing. Oh, it's awful. It's traumatic for all involved. You know, she gets to the point where she starts to not eat, and then that's a fight. I've tried chicken, salmon, meat, anything, rice, broth, you name it. And when a dog that typically is obsessed with food won't eat it all and turns her nose away from even treats, you know she doesn't feel good.
And my biggest thing with this is I feel like the doctors are just patting us on the back. Oh, it'll be okay. Trying to ease us into the inevitable. I'm like, just tell me, is this wasting my money and time? Is she going to die from this no matter what? Because if so, you know, we'll just give her some hospice care at home and let her pass away nice, instead of going into these cold tile floor rooms that stink and that she's terrified of, because I do not want her going in there and dying. If she's going to die anyway, just let her be home when that happens. You know, if they could just tell us, but they won't. You know, they're protecting us, or I guess protecting them, I don't know what, but they won't just tell us, you know, that this is not going to work. And they don't say it will, they say it might.
And even on the opposite end of things, we ask them, if we say go in, remove that gallbladder, get it out of there, granted it would put us in the hole thousands of dollars. If we did that, what's the recovery aspect for her? What is the percentage that she might make it? And it's very 50-50, not to mention they said most dogs her size don't pull through, and there's so many complications that can have to happen after that you're in this horrible rock and a hard place. You know, my whole career was hospice and palliative care. I'm very much about, you know, the less aggressive approach and doing what fits her best. At a dog that's 10 years old, how much do we really put her through? We love her dearly, and I can't even picture a day without her. She's with me 24/7.
Yeah, she's a very good dog, but you know, we're going to do everything we possibly can. We're not going to give up on Pebbles. She wouldn't give up on us. So, but you know, there's got to be a point where we draw the line. I mean, just because it doesn't make any sense at some point to just keep shooting blanks. You know, if it was something that was going to help, and they said this is going to do it, that's one thing. When they say, "Oh, well, try this, try," we don't like that answer. So, and I don't know if any of you have had a dog that had gallbladder surgery. If you have, let us know how that went. But they think that there may be cancer in there. So
But they wouldn't know until they got in and
they
did
want to do an
exploratory
exploratory surgery, which we don't want to put her through that either. You know, if they can do another image and look around and figure something out, blood work, we're okay with that. We just want to know, you know, what's going on with her. She's not whining or anything. She doesn't whimper when you pick her up or to the touch.
She's just lethargic and
yeah.
doesn't eat and just seems kind of uncomfortable. It's just her eyes, her face looks kind of miserable, but then she'll have moments where she'll perk up and we're like, okay, maybe things are better. But it's such a roller coaster right now.
I think it's typical, just like when a person has gallbladder disease, they're up and down. You know, you have days where you feel okay, then days where you're down until you have it removed.
So anyway, we say all this, so one, be prepared. Traveling with pets, anything can happen at any time, kind of out of the blue.
It's never convenient when it happens.
Right, so have either that veterinary insurance or money set aside prepared for just that. Establish a local vet. If you can, at least talk around and get, you know, opinions of people around you that are local that might know a good vet.
Go into the vets ahead of time in the area and introduce yourself. You know, don't wait for an emergency like we did and then they just say, oh, you're not local, we can't help you.
Right. And then, you know, really narrow down to what's best for your pet, because you know your pet best.
Yep. So we hope this video is helpful, give you some insight what you may need to prepare for with your pet.
And we just ask for prayers for Pebbles.
Yep.
And for us.
So until the next video, we hope you're trading the everyday for a better day.